Hi, Keith here from Academy of Bass. Today's lesson is based on one of the most iconic funk bass lines, but it's not actually about the bass line itself. It's much more about how we can add to it so that we can really enhance it. And I'm going to show you 10 different ways to make it even more interesting musically and have a lot of fun playing it. So this lesson is based on Chameleon by Herbie Hancock. You may well be familiar with it, but if not, it's on the Headhunters album that was released in 1973. And this bass line's not even played on a bass guitar, it's played using a synth. So let's have a quick look at it. Now, this entire tune is based on a 2-chord progression. So we've got B flat minor 7 to E flat 7. By the way, we're in the key of A flat major. So B flat minor 7 is built on the 2nd degree of the scale, so it's the 2 chord. And E flat 7 is built on the 5th degree of the scale, so it's a 5 chord. So we've got a 2-5 chord progression, which is one of the most common harmonic movements in music. Now the best thing about this line is its simplicity, and we approach each chord with a 3-note chromatic line. So leading into B flat minor 7, we've got G, A flat, A, then of course B flat. And then similarly we get C, D flat, D, and then E flat. And if we finish the line, so on the B flat minor, we jump from the B flat root up to A flat, the flattened 7th, and then B flat, the root or the octave. And then from the E flat root on the E flat 7, we jump up to B flat, the 5th, and then D flat, the flattened 7th. And that sounds great. Now, in the original track, that doesn't move around a great deal. It stays quite static throughout the entire tune, which is great. But when we play it on bass, it's nice to move it around a little bit and create a little bit of interest. So this is the first of 10 very subtle ways of making this line a little bit more exciting and fun to play without affecting the integrity and the function of the line in the track. And I'm going to start by looking at this chromatic line that approaches each chord, and I'm just going to try and give it a little bit of a lift. Original line. It sounds great. Here's a new one. So that's subtly different from the original line, and everything that I'm doing is on the first of the 3 chromatic approach notes. So the original line is 1, 2, 3, and 4, but I'm playing this 1, 2, 3. So I'm kicking into that, I'm pushing into that, and it gives the line a really nice lift. 1, 2, 3. And similarly on the E flat 7 line, it would be 1, 2, 3, and 4, but I'm playing this 1, 2, 3. So there's a shuffle lilt that runs right the way throughout this track, and all I'm doing is picking up on that shuffle rhythm. But again, I'm just applying it to the first of the 3 chromatic approach notes. 1, 2, 3. So this is the whole line. 1, 2, 3. So this time I'm going to add a little bit more. So that time I picked up on a little bit more of the shuffle rhythm. I kept the front end of the bar exactly the same as the previous example, but this time I took the shuffle rhythm and I applied it to the third of the 3 chromatic notes. I played this 1, 2, 3. And I also switched it round because I took that shuffle rhythm and I placed it on the second of those 3 beats. I played this 1, 2, 3. And I kept this third beat nice and long because I like the way that it leads into each chord. 1, 2, 3. And this time I'm going to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to play a rhythm that goes ever so slightly against the rhythm of the track, and I'm going to play this 1, 2, 3. So I'm playing a much straighter rhythm there. 1, 2, 3. And you certainly wouldn't want to overdo this, but played every now and then it's going to sound great, so have a listen. I'm going to move on from this chromatic line now, but I am going to come back to it in a few minutes. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the whole bass line with some muting. So instead of playing, I'm going to play this 1, 2, 3. So it is very, very subtly different, but it's different enough to create some nice bounce in the bass line. So this is what I'm playing. I'm playing a little muted note before the first G. 1, 2, 3. And again, another muted note before the octave B flat. A muted note before this C. And again before the D flat, the flattened 7th of the E flat 7. So the whole line is. Now, I'm not going to play through this just now, but I will do in a few minutes. I'm going to move on and turn my attention to the top part of the line. This A flat and B flat. And this B flat and D flat, and I'm just going to play them down an octave. So the A flat and B flat on the B flat minor 7, we're playing like that, and then the B flat and D flat on the E flat 7. So the whole line sounds like this: B flat, A flat, B flat, E flat, B flat, D flat, B flat, A flat, B flat, E flat, B flat, D flat. And this is what it sounds like in context. I'm going to add some muting. think each of these variations offers a really nice contrast to the original bass line, and we've pretty much kept that line intact. We've not changed any of the notes. All we've done is applied a little bit of rhythm to it and used some octave displacement, and all of these lines I think sound great. By the way, let me know in the comments below if you've got a favourite of all the lines we've played so far. Now, I don't want to mess around with the line itself, but I am going to look at what else we can use within it. So there are 4 new variations there, 3 that I played over the E-flat 7 chord and 1 that I played over B-flat minor 7. So I'm going to start by looking at those lines that I played over E-flat 7, and here's the first. So that's essentially G, A-flat, A, and then we hammer on to B-flat, which is pretty much the original chromatic line but played up an octave. But it's got a little twist to it because I've added an E-flat between each note, and I'm also using a shuffle rhythm. So we've got E-flat to G, E-flat to A-flat, E-flat to A, and then we hammer on to B-flat. And now the second line that I played over E-flat. So I'm playing this wobble or sting, so I've pretty much kept the original line intact because I'm playing D flat, the flat and 7th of the E flat 7 chord, but I'm sliding into that from the C below it and then moving backwards and forwards between those 2 notes before coming back to the chromatic line that leads us back into B flat minor. And for the third variation, I took that same line with the wobble or the shake and I answered it. So after this, we've got a muted note, B flat, and then F, which is the 9th or the 2nd of E flat, and then pull off onto E flat, the root. So we're still staying really close to the original line. We're not playing anything too adventurous. And if you wanted to, you could come back down to the B flat before leading back into the B flat minor 7. And on the subject of the B flat minor 7, here's the line that I played over that chord. So we've got a nice little rolling line that again is really close to the original line. There's the original line, then we've got a muted note before we play F, A flat again, the flat and 7th, B flat, the root, and then we're pulling off from the B flat to the A flat and coming back to the F. So that's another 4 variations that sound really good. Now, a short while ago, I did say that I was going to come back to this chromatic line and look at playing something else over it, and that's exactly what I'm going to do now. And this time, I'm going to play some octaves over it. But with a slightly different rhythm. So again, I'm playing the shuffle rhythm, and the first of these octaves I'm leading into by playing a short open string. Now, although I'm playing this over all 3 of those notes, I quite like leaving the 3rd note plain and just playing 1 note, because I like the way it leads into the chord. But the choice is yours. So before I look at the final variation, which by the way is completely different from everything that I've played so far, something's literally just popped into my head that I want to share with you. So the one thing that I've forgotten in this line is the triplet rhythm. So we can also play triplets over these 3 chromatic notes that lead into each chord. But for me, the best way of making them work is to play them muted. And also, if you play them on every note, that can be a little bit too much. But by breaking them up, you get a much more interesting line. So there's another variation I think that sounds great. So let's get into the very last line now. This last line is completely different from everything that I've played before. It's a little bit self-indulgent, but it's great fun to play. I'm essentially playing octaves again, but this time I'm ascending the A flat major scale, but starting from B flat. So this is the line. Now, that might not sound great at the moment, but trust me, when you hear it in context, I think you're really going to like it. So this is what I'm playing. B flat, C, D flat, C, D flat, E flat, D flat, E flat, F, E flat, F, G, F, G, A flat, G, and then B flat. And you've got to be really careful where you play this line because it actually crosses the chords. So I wouldn't play it whilst the tune was being played. I think it's best reserved for a break when nothing's going on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have a really quick play through a part of the track and show you just how great this sounds in a break between the tune. I hope you agree that that line sounds great. I absolutely love it. Now this track's got a great tune too, and it's always really good practice to learn the tune of any song that you're trying to play. So let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to do a lesson on the tune. It's really easy to play, and I'll also show you how you can pick out some of the elements of the tune in the bass line too. Make sure you grab the PDF, it's got everything that I've played in it, and I'll also include the backing track in that download too. Feel free to give things a thumbs up, support the channel by subscribing. Thanks for joining me today, look forward to seeing you again, and in the meantime, happy practicing.